Welcome to your Tuesday night. I realize you have a choice in air travel, in live shows on Tuesday, so thank you. Yeah, you guys, we have a decent crowd. You didn't come for me. You just don't care about me. You came for Dominic, who I heard it might really be Pachi, is actually Pace. So it is Pace, but it could be Pachi. Let's bring him right out and talk to him. Hello, Dominic.
How are you? Hello to all your listeners. Thanks for having me. Hope everyone's staying safe.
I think they are for the most part. We'll find out from the peanut gallery soon if they are. So Dominic, Dominic does a lot more than just what we have him here for. As a matter of fact, I have to ask him about Superstore in a second, what he did there, because I saw something in his IMDb profile that made me go, oh my gosh. But Dominic played a bounty hunter on the Mandalorian. I think Dominic, is Gekko is it an official thing, or is that how the fandom came to gave him this name Gekko? Give me where we're at with who Gekko is.
More or less, the fandom for now. We are hoping an official Topps card, almost 99% confident of some Topps official canon come November 6th. I'm not 100% on it.
Okay. So if Topps the people who make the cards,
Correct.
If they come out with a card that says Gekko, that becomes the canon then in the Lucasfilm lore?
That should be it. Brian Sipe, who is an amazing makeup artist, already titled him on his Instagram. Apparently, that was just under the radar for Wikipedia. So it literally was like doing a game show. And like, you got this close. But I said, well, technically anyone in production, if they name the character, that should be it. But right now, it's just anything from Marvel, from Topps, or obviously from LFL will make the title official. But for now, we're sticking with my autograph has been Gekko in quotes. The name came from the design itself. Brian was inspired by a gecko-like model he worked on years ago on a Greenpeace project. So that definitely confirms that he's a one-of-a-kind species for sure that you haven't seen yet. But as far as the confirmation where Gekko will be canon, we're hopeful to announce some very, very good news November 6th. And hopefully we can move forward from there. But either way, what an amazing year. I can't tell you how grateful I am for the entire fan base. My son and I, we covered 41 comic book stars over the course of 5 months, 28 states through COVID to support small business, not to mention giving back to the community along with the 501st Legion, the Rebel Legion, as well as the Mandalorian Mercs. We donated $2,000 to Make-A-Wish Foundation, $1,000 to the Peter Mayo Foundation, as well as $600 to the Aflac Cancer Research, and over $25,000 earned for small businesses throughout the country throughout this COVID time.
Wow. Okay, before I get more into the character itself and where you were at, and I have some photos, some stills that I found. When you got the casting call, or when you were told that, okay, you're going to be in this series somewhat, were you, thrilled, excited, or was it just another job for you and you didn't realize how popular it would be?
Oh, man.
Go back to before you knew The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I've been a character actor for 25 years. This in and of itself was not necessarily an acting accolade. This was just a childhood dream come true. I'm a kid from the 80s. If you went back to 1981 in Austin, New York, and 59 Ferris Place, you'd see me there with my 12 figures, my cantina playset, and my first words that I was spelling, I think, were Jawa on the magnetic alphabet, I think, that we all had, or the alphabet letters that we put on
remember that.
The refrigerator. I've been a lifelong fan. I remember it's being 6 years old in Yonkers, New York, off Central Avenue, seeing Empire Strikes Back with a packed audience for the first time and being absolutely blown away. I've been a lifelong collector, as you can see behind me. If you Google or YouTube Entertainment Tonight, Dominic Pace, I've been a lifelong collector. I think probably the first fanboy, I guess you could say, that's part of the universe as opposed to just being a fan of the show. It was just beyond words. I wish I can tell you that for those 2 weeks of filming in September of 2018, I could have just sat back and enjoyed the moment. I think any Star Wars fan would agree. You would be anxious over the screen time and also the icing on the cake, which we're at this point now of hopefully getting some kind of an action figure that's official. The fans have been amazing for the entire year. Custom mini Lego figures, custom Black Series figures, custom Funko Pops, but nothing official from LFL yet. So we're hopeful that our campaign was about as ambitious as it could be, and hopefully heard loud and clear that LFL gives the side character a little blessing. I think the beautiful thing with Star Wars is really essentially about the side characters. If you had a Han Solo, you had a Walrus Man. If you had a Princess Leia, you had a Hammerhead. And Gekko, I think, is just a very beautiful bounty hunter in terms of in regards to being in the Star Wars universe. Not
I agree. So it is a different. This guy is a species of something.
Yes.
This is not a hat that he's wearing or a hairdo. This is him. This is his skin.
Oh, without question, yeah. And then also, and then Legacy Effects, which also designed the blasters. I got the biggest blaster. So I think there's a lot of.
Oh, Dominic, you're showing off now. You got the biggest blaster.
I got the biggest blaster, and then also the gauntlets as well. It's very, very thick gauntlets. I think twice as big as Mando's. So I think they can do some very special things, and hopefully Marvel Comics will be able to expand upon that in the years to come.
Okay, for those that want to see Dominic after this show, not now, don't leave now. I'm going to show you some screenshots. Dom, you could tell me if they're from. Look how I'm on a personal level with you. I call you Dom now.
Sure.
That's how close. That's how close we've gotten
New
in the last
Yorkers,
5 minutes. If it's from episode 1 or episode 3, which are the 2 episodes that Gekko shows in, I think this is 3. Am I wrong?
That's 3. Yeah, that's a standoff at Navarro. That was the major standoff. Deborah Chow handpicked me to flank Carl Weathers, and it was obviously a dream come true. Such a legendary actor. I'd like to believe if he's flanking the head of the guild, he is a prominent member of the guild. So hopefully that's a story they can expand upon in years to come.
He does look badass. Come on, he does.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, so here's a closer up shot that I've got. This is from I'm reading the bottom, BobaFettFanClub.com. I want to give them credit for these photos because I found them. And so this is from 1?
That's 3. That's when the tracking fob goes off. Me and my dear friend actually, Chris Bartlett, who's right next to me, he plays Zero, I believe. That's when the tracking fob goes off to know that the child is still on the loose. So it zeroes in on me getting, as all the fobs are going off at the same time. Episode 3.
Okay. I love this picture, so I'm showing it. That's a really great one because at least I just feel like you're getting your proper credit for it.
Yeah.
Whereas the other ones you're hidden and I can't tell it's you. So,
sure. The fans have been amazing in terms of illustration, so much to where hopefully this is going to catapult him into the Topps card set. They just love drawing him. I can't tell you how grateful I am for so many fans. We come from New York. We come from the same cloth. New York, is very sort of hard-nosed, the East Coast. And California, I hate to say it, Los Angeles tends to be a little narcissistic. And what I mean by that is just coming from New York and coming from Los Angeles to where it's a little more about self-centeredness. I
get what you're saying.
I was so overwhelmed by the Midwest respect and how much they were supportive of me all over the country, all over the world. Because a lot of times, again, I don't get that sort of feedback in Los Angeles where everyone is looking out for their own dreams and goals. And I think
Los Angeles, I think they get spoiled by the celebrity of anything because they're so used to it. I think it's like coming from a place that has a lot of snow. You see snow, you're like, If you're coming, you're coming from a different place, you're like, oh, you're coming close to greatness, and you feel like that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's pros and cons because people are focused on their career, but also at the same time, it's so gratifying, and I'm so humbled to receive so much support from people all over the world for this character.
Kimberly is asking, and it is a question I was going to get to at some point. What did it take getting ready in the costume? I'm sure there's a lot of makeup and prosthetics involved. How long did that take?
Sure, thanks, Kimberly. Picciano, they had family up in Austining there, actually. We had a 2-hour process. Both were nominated for an Emmy for The Mandalorian. Stephen A. Porro for costumes for Episode 3, and Brian Sipe, who did the makeup and created Gekko for Episode 6.
It looks like longer than a 2-hour process, so explain a little bit of...
Yeah, 2-hour process. We had previous prosthetic experience. I doubled Frankenstein on Van Helsing opposite Hugh Jackman back in 2002.
Ooh.
I was also on Bright with Will Smith. I was one of the orcs. And then I also was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I was one of the Kree. And I also played another character. It's not the greatest talent in the world.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'4", so that hurts.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Yeah. When you say orcs and things like that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. So it hurts and helps with casting. A lot of times, you unfortunately get overlooked because if the star is Christian Slater or Tom Cruise or Michael Chiklis, they're not going to pair you up with them. But then, of course, when you have some of your heavy hitters, or situations to where they need big, imposing guys, even on Barry, playing one of the Chechens for season 1 and 2, it comes in handy. But you take it as it comes there.
Okay, awesome. So the makeup, I mean, you're sitting in a chair and they're putting these things on you and...
Yeah, you're in a makeup chair. The first test, the audition, essentially was a makeup test. And that was a 6-hour process. And the reason that Brian chose me for the most extensive makeup was because I had a significant amount of patience in the chair. They also want, people that are respectful, that are professional and such. So It was a 2-hour process each day. But again, I think any Star Wars fan will be able to relate. The adrenaline rush. It's not
So
like
that's 2 hours a day for 2 weeks.
And then 1 hour to take it off for 2 weeks.
And then 1 hour to take it off. By the way, David Picciano, Kimberly's husband, is freaking out, asking if you are related to a Picciano.
No, but the Piccianos were very popular in the Ossining area in Westchester County while I was growing up there.
Because they're in Jersey, those two. I know them. Kim and
we have family in Plainfield, Scotch Plains. My uncle was chief of police in South Plainfield during, but that last name was Caparelli. So yeah, it's not Picciano.
That's awesome. If an action figure comes, I'm going to be the first one to get it. I'm sending it to you for a signature, and I'll send you an envelope to send it back in.
Please, thank you so much. Hey, Big Kid Bricks, they do custom minifigures, and they were kind enough to create a Gekko. You can always look over to them. But hopefully, again, I mean, I know that Disney went all in with Baby Yodas and with Mandalorian and the lead 5 characters, but hopefully they go back to the old original style, which was to make a character of everyone, even Bill Burr. I'm sure all the Bostonians would love a Bill Burr bounty hunter. So hopefully Gekko's in the cards somewhere, but we just don't know. We just have to hope. Yeah.
I was shocked that Amy Sedaris had a role in this.
Yeah. Well, if you see the pattern, though, that Dave and John had, there was a lot of comedians. Brian Posehn, you had Horatio Sanz, you had Amy. You also had the 2 biker scouts, the 2 Adam Paley, and then I forget the other gentleman's name, but forgive me.
Jason Sudeikis, I think.
Jason Sudeikis, very, very talented. So they just have that beautiful balance of going back to the 80s style of entertainment, which is just having fun. So, and then not to mention the legendary Bill Burr. So I think they did an amazing job.
Yeah, I did not realize that Bill Burr was such an actor until I was like, oh, he's more than just funny. He's also snotty and sassy and fun, and he's good.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, so David says he gets anxiety on each episode that something's going to happen to Baby Yoda. Now, I realize that most of the time you didn't see a real Baby Yoda. Yeah. Did you see a green piece of foam? What was it?
Dave and John were amazing in terms of keeping it secret. I was second team. They wanted to keep it secret. I think the beauty of Star Wars and the amount of work that all the artists put into it. I didn't do my first podcast until episode 1. And the reason is obviously respecting that NDA agreement, because so many people put hours and hours of work into this, not to mention the script. So he was swaddling a baby. That was Brendan Wayne, John Wayne's grandson, not Pedro Pascal, for the time that we were working during that second week when we had the standoff in Navarro. But I'm glad I didn't see it. I was so happy as a viewer to be surprised. But actually, what was going on in my head was I thought it was actually going to be a backstory for either Rey, Poe, or Finn. So that's what I was thinking.
And that was actually a fair assumption. So
you thought
you were protecting a human baby.
That's correct, and it's the right timeline after Return of the Jedi. So Rey would be a child around then. So who knows in season 2 if maybe they bring in a little bit of the sequel trilogy as well.
So was it not until you watched it that you realized there was a Baby Yoda, or were there rumblings a few weeks before?
Yeah, I was actually shaking the first night. I just was still overwhelmed by the whole idea that I was going to be at least officially a character in the Star Wars universe. That I got a text in the middle of the night from a dear friend of mine who was rooting for me the whole time through the campaign. And he said, did you see what happened at the end of episode 1? And I said, no, I haven't seen it yet. I'm still kind of just a little bit.
Oh, they had screeners and stuff?
No. He saw it that Friday night. I just didn't watch it.
Oh, you didn't watch it yet? Okay.
I want to wait for my kids to watch it all together. So I was really taken back, but I'll tell you, a $5 million investment in a animatronic, or however they're doing it there with legacy effects. It's absolutely amazing. It's pulled the heartstrings of the entire world, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, Al is asking, did they know that Baby Yoda was going to be a phenomenon, or was it a surprise? I'm thinking they really didn't know how popular it would be. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think they shot their shot. I think, if anything, there might have been a little bit of nail-biting because, to be honest with you, from the episode 8, Solo and Rogue One, I think, was a home run. They hit it out of the park. But I think they had a lot to prove with this. First of all, being a first-time television show, that transition. And also Dave and John kind of having their debut with Star Wars. So I think, if anything, they just showed their talent and what they are worth, which is absolutely, to the nth degree, millions and millions of dollars just because they're so talented. But I think their backs were a little bit to the wall, but they just stepped up and did what they do so amazingly well.
I also think they took a chance because a lot of times, puppets, kids they're not cool enough. It's not cool enough.
That's
but
the other thing.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say the other problem, too, with not disclosing it to the cast and to the crew or to the media is just the fact that if you combine now Disney with a puppet or with Baby Yoda, they might have thought this could have been the new next Baby Muppets and said, what is everybody doing to our beloved franchise? And obviously, as we saw it turn out, it was absolutely brilliant.
There is a conversation, I don't know if you were privy to it or if you've since seen it. It's somewhere on the internet where, is it Herzog Warner is his name?
Werner Herzog, yeah.
Werner Herzog. Okay, I love him.
Yeah,
and
legendary.
he talks about that they didn't want, at some point they were thinking we might just CGI the whole thing. And he says in his voice, "You're a cowards, go with the puppet." Did you hear about this at all?
Yeah, I did. I mean, he's always been so outspoken. And
I'm so glad he was right.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and the other thing is then you're going back to the OG, Lucas stuff too, to where it's more practical effects as opposed to the CGI, which again kind of fell a little bit short in episodes 1 and 2 there. I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I know they did a couple of little CGIs when he's walking and stuff, but I love physical things.
Yeah.
Even, you can tell maybe, I think it looks great. I think he has a personality. I think it's really cool.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that's great. So now, did you get a chance to even just during break talk to Carl Weathers at all? Were you in awe of him from Rocky? How did you feel about being near some of these people?
Sure, absolutely. When you're on that set, I mean, when you're on a professional set, you're brought there for a reason. If you're on a military ship, anyone who's served in the Army, there's rank and command. So you're, reporting to the second AD, you're reporting to the first AD as a second teamer. We actually did have to have, we happened to have a chance to chat a little bit during the standoff. Talked about traffic, talked about where he lives, where I live, a few little, little small talk things here and there. But the greatest compliment that you can give to one of the A-team actors is to let them work. Sometimes they've got, 10 pages of dialogue that they have to memorize that entire day. And the last thing that they want is any chit-chat. So actually the greatest rapport that you can have with a lot of the A-list talent is to just be there in support, to be there on point in terms of the adrenaline and intensity, so they get their shots right. But it's less about a meet and greet. Even with George Lucas being there the first day, I mean, I was beyond words. But
you did not run up to George Lucas?
You'd be shown the door before you it.
I know. I don't know if I could handle it, but I'm sure that I get that. Was there anybody that stood out to you that you said, "Wow, this is a professional person," but you still got to talk to them a little bit?
On set, I mean, it really was more of an adrenaline rush where I was within my own thoughts of, can this character be a figure? And the whole time, it was this little bit of inching over to make sure, you got in this shot or you got in that shot. So I was a little bit more focused on that just because I knew to some level how legendary this was going to be. So you'll have to forget, I mean, I've been in the business for 25 years. So a lot of times it's not necessarily a point of getting starstruck on set, but sometimes you're thinking of your own opportunities there in the most respectful way.
I totally get that. When I was talking to you about the commercial that I did when I was a kid, there were people that were in the commercial that are not in the commercial. Yeah. So you get scared that, they could cut everything of this and I will, I have nobody to show, nothing to show for it except on the extras.
One of my idols is Chaz Palminteri, and I had a really nice guest star with him for CBS in 2004. It was a failed series called Dr. Vegas, starring Joe Pantoliano and Rob Lowe. And right before episode aired, thankfully, I got the footage. I knew somebody at Warner Brothers, but they canceled the show. So, unfortunately, as actors, you have that in the back of your head because it happens. I guest starred on Desperate Housewives, and Marcia Cross wasn't happy with the script that morning. And I remember going to her. We were heading back to our trailers, and I said, "Marcia, please don't cut the scene." And she says, "Oh, no, don't worry. I'm just worried with Mark Cherry. They kind of bring these scripts on us, at the last minute." I was upset. I said, "Thank you so much." I said, "Please, if you can, don't cut the scene." So unfortunately, those things are in the back of my head, and especially as second team, as a bounty hunter, it's not a bounty, so it was a lot of stress there.
What did you do on Superstore? I watched that religiously.
Yeah, sure. I was Don the warehouse manager for season 2. I was in 2 episodes, supposedly slated for 3. I did end up taking a film in Spain. I starred in a short film called The Painters. So who knows where it would have led. It's just I had to take this film. But it's
I have to write down in season 2 what you did so I can go watch it.
The 2 episodes are Election and also Matteo's Last Day, and I play a New York, Italian. It's the warehouse manager, Dom.
I'm sure I saw the warehouse manager, Dom, and he flew over my head, and I didn't even notice.
Yeah. It was a couple of scenes, and it was co-star. I mean, I had lines in both both shows, but it was just a recurring. We were hoping to go a little bit further, but unfortunately, it happens.
Very cool. What are some of your is there anything else from the set that really stood out to you that you say, this is interesting or something? Give me some good stories that you might have.
I think any Star Wars fan would agree that just the dream of being able to pick out your own weapon within the universe. I met so many.
Oh, wait, you didn't tell me that you got to pick out your own weapon?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was a whole table with about 20 blasters of all sizes. And I had the privilege of meeting so many amazing 501st Legion members this year, Rebel Legion members, Sith Dynasty, Mandalorian Mercs, and I know how much pride they take in their armor. So for me, that really stood out in regards to the fact that, you get to pick your own weapon. And I hope that they cast more people from these charitable organizations because they have so much pride in what they do. They have so much pride in the franchise. So that ultimately was just such a dream come true. The other thing that stood out was not knowing if the Mandalorian himself was going to be Boba Fett. And the fact that one of my favorite figures as a kid, if you can see the standoff, I'm literally squared up against him eye to eye, as far as just centered with him. And what was tripping me out was just the thought that I might be squared up against my childhood action figure.
You might kill Boba Fett.
You might kill Boba Fett. When you are an actor, it's almost like the Matrix, to where you get what's called tunnel vision. So the whole universe kind of goes away, and it was just one of the most amazing experiences to have Carl Weathers in my ear, as far as giving the demands, and also at the same time to not see the cameras anymore. Even in the cantina, I had my back to the cantina, to the cameras. So to really truly get immersed within the universe for a second, you are in the Star Wars universe, and it is the most amazing feeling, more than Galaxy's Edge and more than I could ever describe. I wish I could have taken my heart in my eyes and put them in every Star Wars fan, because you get this feeling of magic for a moment, and it's extremely addicting in the most beautiful way.
For people that don't know, how would you describe, what is the 501st?
Sure. They're a charitable organization. I believe they started X amount of years ago. I mean, I don't think they're that old. I want to say maybe 20, 25 years ago. But basically, their motto is bad guys doing good. And what it is people who genuinely kit up. They have all different characters from the Star Wars universe. And they are completely 100% nonprofit. And they go out and to children's hospitals. They go out for causes all throughout their communities, and they do so much good for children, for elderly, for people who are just Star Wars fans. They do, library activities so much. I can't tell you how honored I am.
Their costumes look so authentic, like they're from the movies.
Yeah, and they made me an honorary member last October. And ultimately, it's not even about the costumes; it's about what these people do throughout their community. And I was so grateful that Dave and John gifted about 8 to 16 of them an opportunity, a walk-on role for episode 8. And I hope they do more of that with not only the 501st, but also the Rebel Legion and the Mandalorian Mercs, because these guys, these people, you got to understand, all over the world, they do so much goodwill. And if you're not familiar with them, please go out and support them any way you can when they have their local gatherings for one event or another that's for goodwill in their local towns.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of all the charitable stuff that they did. That's great. They've been like in Hollywood studios during parades and cavalcades and things.
Yeah, it's way beyond that, and the beautiful thing, especially now in our country, is togetherness and unity, and doing just amazing gestures throughout their communities. And I'll tell you, being just a small side character, I had these 41 appearances throughout the country, and I just cannot tell you how much they supported me every step of the way. And I can't tell you again, going back to New York and Los Angeles, knowing how many of them would love this opportunity, and for them to cheer me on, being from New York, being from LA, I never received that. So I just can't tell you how grateful I am for all the members.
That is really nice. As a matter of fact, if I get to speak to them, I'll try to invite someone from there to come on the show and talk more about it.
There's some garrisons down. I think the Everglades garrison, there's about 3 or 4 garrisons down in Florida alone, and they do a lot of good stuff down there.
That's awesome. Yeah. David's saying, did Dominic say he worked with Will Smith? I didn't catch that, but did you mention?
Yeah, so Bright, I was one of the orcs. I was uncredited, but I was one of the orcs for an entire week. Hugh Jackman and Will Smith, just to talk about work ethic, 15th or 16th hour, they still have the highest energy you could possibly imagine. Not to mention, whether you're the garbage man, whether you're in cleaning out the trailers, the amount of respect they have to everyone on set, it is so inspirational. And I tell you, I can't tell you how sensitive I get with actors with egos, because when I was around these two gentlemen, and not only that, their level of talent, it set the bar for any other actor, and that you should try to aspire to be that, especially with their attitudes. Incredibly positive. But Bright with Will Smith was one of the orcs, and it was a privilege to be on those sets there.
Yeah, I have to say, Dominic, and I'm not just blowing smoke and trying to compliment you. No matter how famous you get, I think you're always going to be this normal guy. I deal with a lot of people. Some people have more egos than you, and they have a blog. So, I mean, I have to thank you for your demeanor, the way you've been. I think it's always good to be humble like that. I like that you don't claim to be any more than you're not, and what you're looking for. And I really think because of that, your success, the sky's the limit. And I really do believe that.
Thank you so
just
much.
to put that out there. So
yeah, I've always viewed it as a blue collar job. I don't get the whole ego thing. It makes no sense to me. We're here. I mean, even forgive me. I don't mean to overstep my bounds, but even telling people what to do with politics. I mean, it's just where I had 1 year of college education. I don't understand how I could suggest that. It's about just staying grounded. It's a job, and if I can inspire people or to be just a positive influence in people's lives, that means so much to me.
So you have kids. You don't have to mention names or anything. If you can say their ages, that's great.
Sure, 15 and 12, 2 boys.
What did they think when they said Dad's going to be in this thing, or were they into Star Wars prior to this?
A little bit. We had a great moment. I remember being at home and first seeing the trailer on YouTube, and Carl has a line saying they're all jealous of you, and you see Gekko. And my wife wasn't home yet, and we just kind of hugged each other. I'm not a big drinker, I promise you, but I needed a little shot of scotch because, again, this was just different than an acting accolade. It's just the fact that part of the reason I got involved in Hollywood is because of the magic of Lucas, Spielberg, Zemeckis, Richard Donner, Joe Dante, just all the magical directors from the 80s when I was a kid.
I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah.
So when your kids watched the series, were they taken by the child and everything? Did they love it?
I mean, they just, like everybody else, just soaked up the story. It goes back to amazing stories or the old adventures of the 80s where it's not so trivial and everything is just kind of has an agenda or political. It's just beautiful. It's just, it's like a fine wine where from episode 1 to 8 until now, you just genuinely enjoy it. They just know what they're doing. And I can't tell you how excited I think we all are for season 2.
My friend Cheryl Picard says, "You're amazing, Dominic, so real." Speaking of season 2, I am upset, and I know why now, that Gekko is not in season 2. But as Dominic explained to me, they went so fast into season 2, they didn't even care of really what worked in season 1. They were full gung-ho. Sure. Is that correct, Dominic? They just went quick.
Oh, without question. But also at the same time, I mean, I'm not ashamed to say they had no plans for the character. I just went out on a campaign. And because of COVID, it just kind of turned into something bigger than I expected. If all of entertainment was back, I don't know if Gekko would have had this kind of following. So they had no plans. It's not Disney's fault. But I made a really nice announcement about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I just said, even when life doesn't have plans for you, you make plans because you believe in yourself. And the one thing that I love about Gekko, I'll always proudly have.
Oh, that's great.
Is just that he's a one-of-a-kind bounty hunter. And I said, if anything, I hope if there's any kids listening, the fact that even with this campaign, I didn't follow the leader. I did my own thing. But just if anything, I hope that it inspires children to do their own thing and to be confident, believe in who you are, even if you're different, if you look different, to just do your own thing. And even when the world doesn't believe in you. So that's what we did with Gekko. We're hopeful for season 3. We have hopefully some really good news coming up November 6th and also through Marvel. But ultimately, I'm just very proud of myself and that I did the best I could this year. And I also tried to help as many people as I could along the way with small business there.
Did you get any feedback from, is Jon Favreau and these people, are they aware of your, are they aware of Gekko's popularity and fandom?
I talk to my wife and my kids about it probably every other week, and I say they're either ready to crack me over the head or they've given me a blessing because I know with Lucasfilm, a lot of times they get strict. Even with the appearances. And I've had NBC cover. I've had Cleveland, Tennessee gave me the key to the city. Sioux City, Iowa, the mayor came out to name July 18th Dominic Pace Gekko Day. Rebel Force Radio, and as well as your podcast, I think they're loud and clear all over the world. I just think everything that we're doing is in the spirit of Disney, in the spirit of the series. And I think their compliment, at least up until now, is that they've given me sort of reign of being able to promote him and to also make appearances. So for that, I'm very grateful.
It's only positive stuff for them. They can't see it as anything but positive,
Yeah, and that's the great thing.
awareness of their show.
Yeah, and my career has been squeaky clean. We have no TMZ. We don't go off on a tangent socially or politically on Facebook. We literally are just genuinely happy to be part of this universe. It literally is like a 10-year-old child living inside a 45-year-old man's body, in the sense that I've just been an innocent kid, and I just can't tell you how grateful I am to have been able to hold that blaster. I got my figures behind me, and I just remember even the blaster going in my hand, of how many times I put the figures and tried to pose the characters. It was just an amazing feeling, and I think any true Star Wars fan is able to relate there.
What I really like about them letting you choose your own blaster is they really are giving then the character it's their own idiosyncrasies that you can actually put your own personality a little bit into the character. I kind of like that. That's a good thing.
Yeah, taking a step further, Stephen Porro, they had the mask and they misplaced the mask, and I said, on day one, and I was a little late to the cantina because they had some of Mando's scenes when he's walking in and talking with Carl. But I said, I don't want to go without the mask. I said, because the one thing is just the depth of Star Wars characters that I loved in figures. I thought the more layers you have to the character, the more interesting they are, as opposed to coming back into the real world. There's one character, forgive me, he had like a sailor's hat on and a beard. He looked like Long John Silver. But I said, for Gekko, I said, I want him to be all Star Wars, and it's not about my FaceTime. It's about this character. So yeah, I even had that choice as well, where I could have just rushed to set, but I didn't want to. I wanted to have that mask.
After this, I may put you in touch with Kimberly Pachano. She says if you're in New Jersey, she's a teacher. She has a first grade class. She would love to have you come talk to the first graders.
Please, anytime to Zoom. We are home for good now. Just give me a time. And I always love talking to the kids. And even give me your address. Happy to send some autographs out to the kids as well there.
And Adam is asking if there's any Star Wars food that is your favorite. I don't even know if you've experienced any Star Wars food, if there's such a thing.
Well, we have, we're all about supporting small business, and there's a great bar called Scum and Villainy, which is sort of cantina themed on Hollywood Boulevard, right down the street from me. And of course, who can't go wrong with the blue milk? They make it sort of like a blue Hawaii, with the blue
That's
salad.
awesome. This is in New York?
This is in Hollywood. I'm in.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's how can you go wrong with the blue milk there? And of course, if you haven't been to what's it called, Olga's Cantina at Galaxy's Edge, they've got some fun little snacks there. In the cantina there, but who can't go? The blue milk, and this one guy. The fans have just created so many different Gekko designs. There's a guy up in Idaho who created Gekko cookie cutters along with Mandalorian ones. So we're gonna bake some Gekko cookies for season 2 premiere on Friday night there.
Do we have any lore behind Gekko's mask? Does he need it to breathe? Is it oxygen? Is it?
Yeah. So
what do you got?
So Ethan Sachs, who's the head of Marvel Comics Star Wars Bounty Hunters, loves the character. And the good news about Gekko not being part of season 2 is that my hope, I had this beautiful pitch to them, thanks to Ethan, is that Marvel will hopefully take charge of his entire backstory and take him in the era of the OG Bounty Hunters from Empire Strikes Back, which is where that takes place, Bounty Hunters. So we are hopeful, but this is all going to be Ethan Sachs and Paolo Villanelli, an amazing illustrator's decision. If LFL gives the nod, I know they were a little hesitant in terms of having any Mandalorian characters go into any of the other comics, but we're hoping that LFL gives that blessing because ideally I would love to do another tour with a variant cover of Gekko and have Ethan and the entire team over at Star Wars Bounty Hunters create his backstory, especially with those really amazingly thick gauntlets there as well.
And we're hoping that Topps gives us a card.
That is correct. November 6th, there is an artist in England and also an artist in Florida who I guess is in extremely high regard in the Topps design universe and sketch universe. So from what I understand, that there might not be many of them. There might only be one, but hopefully we'll have some good news there November 6th that he has been accepted. And there is one golden ticket Gekko in the new Mandalorian card set there. And hopefully somebody finds it. I just hope it doesn't end up on a 5-year-old's floor where he just kind of tosses it out. But I'm going to be one original Gekko sketch. So fingers crossed we'll be able to make that announcement November 6th. But only time will tell. Hopefully LFL approves it, which I'm confident they will.
I'm going to be in contact with you November 6th to find out what's happening.
Oh, we'll definitely announce it, yeah.
We're a little bit on a delay with the chat room, but I'm going to ask them. If you guys have any questions for Dominic, give them to me. Mm-hmm. Come on, we got to get some good, smart questions here that I'm not coming up with. Sure. I think you know what I do want to find out?
Yeah.
The puck. Did you I don't know if they were anything special. Were you able to get anything from the set as a souvenir to keep?
Oh, God, I wish I can tell you. I had the tracking fob in my hand. The beautiful thing about the Star Wars fan base is they will recreate everything for you. I've had people recreate my blaster. They recreated my gauntlets. They've made tracking fobs for me. I took them on my tour and signed away on them and lighted bounty hunter pucks and also Beskar. But no, I mean, when you're on set, unfortunately, you can't take a thing. But it's all good. The memories itself are right here. And also the images are right there on the screen. And I just can't tell you how grateful I am for the entire year. The tour, again, we were able to support small business. We started June 29th in Las Vegas. We went as far east as Boston, as far north as Mount Vernon, Washington, as far south east as Florida, Miami, Florida. It was just an amazing experience to get out there, especially during this time of COVID, to just add some cheer, almost a Star Wars Santa, if you will, to the entire country. And everybody, again, was just so supportive. I think, right now, the way the country is, I joke that I think we need to go down to the common denominators of what we can all agree on, and that's Star Wars, Oreo cookies, and for me personally, I think Cheetos. I don't know how you can go wrong with Cheetos. I think they're delicious for everyone. But
I think those three things we could agree on.
These three things we could talk about, and we're safe. But it was just so great to sort of be an ambassador for the universe in so many ways, the Star Wars universe, especially during this sensitive time right now we're all going through.
Were you able to see or be a part of that screen where it's not a green screen, but it's like a digital screen? Did you get to see that or be near that?
Yeah, so during my screen test, I saw it, but Navarro was actually a standoff. It was green screen, and also they had the village itself that was actually built. But
Where was that filmed?
That was Manhattan Beach Studios, and the day that I had the screen test...
Where is that, Manhattan Beach Studios? Is that in California?
Just south of LAX, off the 405.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But the day that I had the screen test, I saw the LED for the first time, and I saw it active, and I just cannot wait for the future of entertainment, the future of museums, and the future of amusement parks, because this thing is beyond words.
Okay, I got a question from Chris Reynolds. Does Dom have a favorite scene from the show, either as a fan or to be involved in? So it doesn't have to be one that you were involved in, but what was your favorite scene from the series?
Sure. I thought, when IG-11 kind of comes to the rescue, sort of as like super nanny.
That's the robot, for those of you who are wondering, IG-11, correct? That's the skinny little robot guy?
But just coming up as backup and, kind of, with the child, strapped almost like a Bjorn, and just kind of coming in and just kicking ass. I thought that was really just a fun popcorn scene for episode 8. So that one to me genuinely stuck out there.
And Kimberly's asking, fights. What's the girl's name, the warrior lady? She was so good. How long did it take for battle scenes? Which you were a part of one.
Sure. Yeah. Well, Gina Carano obviously is just absolutely amazing. I mean, and how humbling the fact that she can drop kick all of us. But ours was about a 3-day process there with the standoff at Navarro. My hope is that maybe they do an extended version, because there were some shots where I did get really close to the camera as well, that I hope maybe they can include on an extended director's cut, where each of the 8 episodes is 1 hour long. But yeah, it was just such a great adrenaline rush. I think we all want to be in the Star Wars universe, but also every boy and girl, when you're a kid and you're playing pretend, is to want to be part of the action. And I was so privileged to be a part of that action before the Mandalorians come flying in and sweep a lot of people out. Hopefully Gekko survived that battle, but it was definitely a joy to be a part of that there.
He definitely survived.
Yeah.
Do you know when 3 is supposed to begin filming? If there, I'm assuming there's a 3.
It's got to be close, because my network auditions are coming in now. So if they have approval with certain shows, they have to have approval with that one. So there's a huge procedure in terms of getting on set. I had a friend of mine who guest starred recently, and it's a pain in the butt. But just as long as we can get back to work, I'm happy. So it's got to be very, very close if they haven't already started filming.
All right. If you guys don't have any questions, I'm going to wrap it up with Dominic, but I want you to get in another question if you've got it. I'm going to wait a couple of minutes. I can't thank you enough, Dom. This was so much really cool information. I am so on Team Gekko, Team Dominic Pace. I can't tell you.
Thank you so much. No, just a genuine thank you to everyone. I want to kind of lay low for season 2 and give credit where credit's due, and not try to upstage. I keep joking with my close friends that I don't want to be the guy from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs to, 5 years later, still milking the sardine ad from, when I was, 2 years old, a la Gekko. but hopefully good things to come here without question for Gekko and also the career.
Cheryl says, are you going to go as Gekko for Halloween?
Oh man, that 2-hour process plus hiring Brian. I'm sure he's no cheapskate in terms of hiring him. But no, I think we're just going to hopefully sit tight there, and I think brace for the November 3rd, November 4th storm. Hopefully it'll all just be over with before we know it, and all just go back to all coming together as Americans and just spreading love and peace through entertainment there.
What a great way to end it. Thank you so much, Dominic. Coming together, that's how it all has to be. Yeah. I thank you so much. Whether you're in a 3 or not, we're going to have you back at some point, I hope, just Please. To talk about what you're doing. But I have a feeling there's stuff coming up for Gekko. You're going to see Halloween costumes, too, of Gekko, I'm sure.
And just a side note, for those doing 30 Days of Halloween, I star in a really great film. And I'm not saying this just because, I'm in it. It's called Anonymous Killers, and it's on Amazon, and it's getting great reviews. If you like Saw, but just a little bit more of a depth story about social issues, about, perhaps the judicial system and sort of injustice in certain ways, it's a great film. It's definitely thought-provoking no matter what side of the aisle you're on. Anonymous Killers, and I star as Romero Scarinelli. Thanks so much for the rental there.
This is on Amazon?
That's correct.
Awesome. That's going to be cool. I'm going to go watch that. Anonymous Killers. That's on my list. Would you say it's horror, or you would say it's more drama horror? What would you?
Suspense thriller. It definitely is intense, but at the same time more story-based than just guts and gore.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tom. Say hello to the family, and I will talk to you soon, sir.
Absolutely. Have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Guy's awesome, no? Come on. I really hope he's in 3. I really hope we get more of this Gekko guy. It was I didn't know too much about it when I had him on here. So I hurt my back today. I did a wonderful thing. I did a fat guy mistake. I went to cut my toenails and I didn't stretch, and I sprained something. So right now as I sit here, the pain that is in my middle lower back, it wants to spasm so bad. So I'm going to cut the show semi-shorter than I usually would because of that, because I need to go take some Advil. But I do have to tell you, and if you have questions for me, thank you, Cheryl, for saying that, because you never know, sitting on my area here, I never know. There is a new website coming. I just want to tell you a little bit about it. For the longest time, BigFatPanda.com went to the YouTube channel, and that was great. I like sending you guys to the YouTube channel because that's my shtick, is videos. So this website now is going to have, you can go to the YouTube channel. There's going to be a store for all my, okay, I'll do my little advertising here. For all my embroidery stuff now, I became a little old Italian lady. I'm making towels. I can make any towel, but this just happens to be the most popular. The Haunted Mansion towels, the napkins, Haunted Mansion, and then I started to come up with some slogans like foolish morsels instead of mortals. If we want any of these things, I am making them. That's how I am supporting myself through COVID. You can just send an email to panda@bigfatpanda.com. We take credit cards or PayPal, but that's going to be part of the new website. Another thing on the new website is going to be Panda Points. What's Panda Points? Let's say you book a trip with MEI Mouse Fan Travel. You might get 50 Panda Points. These are things that I can put these points towards you going into drawings or just flat out winning all these gifts that we get sometimes from media events and stuff. There will also be virtual prizes like badges. So I'm trying to make it really pretty cool, the whole website thing. So Panda Points should be fun. And we had a Disney artist who was in furlough make all the graphics. Let's see, what do I have? John, at 6:55 this evening, WW no separation of voice actors for Turtle Talk. Actually, Matt, these separation notices, these are all just the official letters for firings that happened 2 weeks ago. I don't think these are anything new. Like, these are all things that we knew. They all got phone calls, and these letters of being fired are the official letters that they knew were coming. So it's a double whammy, though, because it hurts double the times. Yeah, Monsters Laugh Floor. I don't think everybody, because I think Monsters Laugh Floor is staying, I think. So, anyhow, if you are not on my mailing list, if you can go to pandasubscribe.com, please get on the Big Fat Panda mailing list so I can at least tell you things, because sometimes I post something to Facebook or I post it to Instagram or Twitter. There's no guarantee you're going to see it. If you're on the mailing list, I know that you are going to see it. Thanks, Kimberly. She says, cute idea, sounds great. So yeah, let me go baby my back. And Right now, my friend Jeremy Goff, who I'm not happy with today because I can't go see his show. He's doing a musical show, which usually lasts like 3 hours, but I think he's doing what is it? Let's do the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So if I can go baby my back quick enough, I'm going to go to Jeremy Goff. He's Goffstock on Facebook, and I'm going to go watch some of his musical that is going on. But if you also can, go follow Dominic Pace wherever you can. It's Dominic with a C at the end, no K, Pace. Thank you guys so much. Mwah. Love and hugs to you all. Saturday Disney Night Live this week is on Friday night, I think. Is that right, Kimberly or David? Are we really doing Friday? Is Disney Night Live on Friday because Saturday is Halloween? I think that's the case. That's the show on Now. That's Disney. That's a great group. And my group is Pandemonium. There's too many things to remember and tell everybody. I don't blame you for being overwhelmed and not knowing what end is up. Thank you, Chris. But I think it's Friday. I think Friday night we have a show instead of Saturday night on Disney Night Live, which is Now That's Disney Facebook group. Thanks, guys. Love yous very much. Boy, I'm going to be taking a lot of Advils, and I'm